The Galactic Council had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. It was made up of the oldest, strongest, and most powerful alien empires. Every decision they made affected hundreds of star systems and billions of lives. When a new species discovered faster-than-light travel, also called warp travel, the Council took notice. The moment a species became advanced enough to travel between stars, they were visited by the Council. It always started the same way: friendly message full of formal greetings and warm words. The Council would welcome the new species into the galactic community. But along with that welcome came something else. A demand. The Council called it a tribute, a kind of payment or offering to prove respect and cooperation. But everyone in the galaxy knew the truth. It was not a friendly gift. It was a test. Of power, species that refused the tribute usually disappeared. Some were blockaded, their planets cut off from food, energy, and trade. Some had their cities destroyed from orbit. Others were never heard from again. The message was clear: pay the tribute or suffer. Now, it was Earth's turn. Humanity had built its first warp ship just 2 years ago. After decades of effort, humans had finally stepped into the wider galaxy. At first, Earth stayed quiet, watching and listening, but they had been noticed. A council delegation was sent to the solar system. Dozens of alien ships appeared near Earth's orbit. Their arrival caused panic at first. But the aliens didn't attack. Instead, they requested a meeting with Earth's leaders. Inside the United Nations building in Geneva, the message was delivered. 10 tall aliens stood before the humans, dressed in ceremonial robes and armor. Each one represented a different, powerful species from the Council. The leader of the alien group spoke in a deep, calm voice. "We welcome the human race to the stars. Your kind has taken its first steps into a larger world. With this honor comes responsibility. As is tradition, we request your tribute. 1 million metric tons of refined materials per year, or the equivalent in labor and service. Comply, and you will be protected by the Council. Refuse, and you will face the consequences." The room went silent. Earth's leaders looked at each other. Presidents, prime ministers, generals, and scientists had all gathered for this moment. They had prepared for a long list of demands. This was more than they expected. 1 million tons of resources every year. That would crush Earth's economy, and the equivalent in labor likely meant sending humans off-world to work for the Council, maybe even to fight in their wars. One leader stood up. "If we say no, what happens?" The alien didn't smile. "You will be seen as uncooperative. The Council does not look kindly upon disrespect." Everyone in the room understood what that meant. It was a threat. But Earth had been through threats before. Humanity had survived world wars, famines, diseases, and disasters. Their history was full of hard lessons. But from every challenge they grew stronger. Now facing the largest empire in the galaxy, Earth had a choice. They could bow their heads and obey, or they could stand tall and resist. For the next 24 hours, Earth's leaders debated. Some said it was too dangerous to refuse. Others argued that if they gave in now, they would always be seen as weak. But there was one thing they all agreed on. Humanity must choose for itself. No more being told what to do. No more fear. Finally, they reached a decision. A short reply was prepared. It was translated into the Council's main language. It had no insults, no arguments, no begging. Just one word. It would be delivered by Earth's ambassador in front of the cameras and transmitted. Across the galaxy, the world waited. So, did the stars? What would Earth say? Part 2. Earth's answer. The day had come. The entire galaxy was watching. On Earth, people gathered around screens. In space, alien ships adjusted their sensors. Across hundreds of planets, broadcasts had been prepared. This was a moment the Galactic Council had repeated many times with other species. But never quite like this. The Council's delegation stood proudly in front of Earth's United Embassy. Located in New Geneva, a tall silver tower built for this exact purpose. 10 alien diplomats waited under a wide white sky, their robes moving gently in the wind. Each one represented a powerful empire that had ruled space for centuries. Floating camera drones recorded everything. The video feed was being streamed in dozens of languages and beamed across known space. Every major species had eyes on Earth. The leader of the council delegation was a tall being with smooth silver skin and glowing eyes. He stepped forward and cleared his throat. He spoke loudly, so everyone could hear. People of Earth, we welcome you again to the stars. As you are now aware, the Council requires tribute from all warp-capable species. In return, you will receive protection and access to trade networks. Have you prepared your offering? The alien leader smiled politely, but everyone could see the hidden message behind his words: give us what we want, or face the consequences. Then the humans stepped forward. There were only 5 of them. They wore simple suits, no armor. No weapons, no loud colors. They stood calmly, with straight backs and quiet strength. At their front was Ambassador Rachel Yoon, a former military officer turned diplomat. She had gray hair, sharp eyes, and the kind of quiet power that made people listen when she spoke. She didn't speak right away. She took a slow breath and looked out across the cameras, the aliens, and the sky above. She knew billions of lives were watching. Billions were wondering, would humans kneel like everyone else? Then she gave her reply. One word, spoken clearly, without fear, without apology. No. That was it, just one word. But that one word echoed across every ship, every screen, every system. No. The camera drones paused for a second, unsure of what to do. The alien diplomats froze in place, as if they hadn't heard correctly. The silver-skinned leader blinked. His translator repeated the word back to him. No. In the Council's history, no species had ever refused tribute so boldly, so simply. Some tried to negotiate. Others begged for time. Few rebelled with violence. But never this. Never a simple no. Across the galaxy, reactions exploded. On some planets, people gasped. On others, leaders stood up in shock. A few laughed in disbelief. Could Earth really be that foolish? Or ... could they actually back it up? The alien diplomats looked confused, angry, nervous. The leader of the delegation stepped forward again, trying to stay calm. Are you certain? This is your official answer on behalf of your planet? Rachel Yoon nodded slowly. Yes, that is our answer. Earth does not pay tribute to threats. For a moment, no one spoke. Then she handed the alien leader a small data chip. You may want to watch this before you respond. The aliens took it without a word. Then the humans turned around and walked back into the embassy, leaving the galaxy stunned. The alien ships left orbit soon after, broadcasting silence. They didn't expect this. Earth wasn't like the others. Later, in a secure council vessel, the data chip was opened. It contained only one file, a video the aliens watched closely. They thought it might be a speech or technical data, but what they saw was something different. The video showed Earth's past. It showed war, footage of burning cities, crumbling buildings, smoke-filled skies, explosions, tanks rolling through mud, planes screaming through the air, soldiers charging into battle. But what shocked the council the most were the faces of the humans. They weren't afraid. Some smiled, some shouted, some cried, but none of them gave up. The video ended with a quiet image of a nuclear mushroom cloud rising over a ruined landscape, and then it's just one line of text. We don't fear destruction. We survived our own. The file closed. Silence filled the council chamber. What kind of species used their own painful history as a message? What kind of race refused to kneel not because they were strong, but because they had already lived through hell? The answer was clear: humans, and now the entire galaxy knew it. Part 3. The shockwave. The word no kept echoing through the galaxy. It was a word no one expected. A word no one ever dared to say to the Galactic Council. But Earth had said it clearly, boldly, and without fear. In council space, high-ranking, leaders sat in shock. They played the video from Earth again and again, hoping there had been some kind of mistake. But their wows had refused the tribute, and they had done it with one simple word, backed by a video showing their history of war, struggle, and survival across the galaxy. Reactions exploded. On the planet Varnock Prime, the rulers of the Varnock Empire watched the news in silence. 600 years, they had been paying tribute to the Council. Millions of tons of minerals and fuel were sent every year just to stay safe. Now, they were asking each other a question they had never dared to think before. If the humans said, "No, why can't we?" In the Relchi Union, a star system with 5 planets, the government held emergency meetings. Years ago, they had tried to reduce their tribute just a little. The Council punished them by destroying 3 of their moons. Now, they watched the human video and sat in silence. The image of the mushroom cloud burned in their minds. These humans, one Relchi general said, used such weapons on themselves and survived. What would they do to an enemy, even small? Species those who lived quietly and tried to avoid attention started whispering in private. Earth said no. Earth is still standing. Some species cheered in secret. Others panicked. But no one could ignore the truth. Earth had done what no one else ever dared. Back in the council chamber, the things were not going well. The council was made up of dozens of species, but only a few truly held power. These major empires were furious. They shouted over each other in a storm of voices. "We must send a fleet. They are only one planet. If we let them get away with this, others will follow." They were afraid not just of Earth, but of losing control. The Council's strength came from fear. One species could say no without punishment. Others might rise up, but some members hesitated. A senior advisor from the Zellery Empire stood and raised his voice. "Earth is not like the others." They didn't argue. They didn't plead. They just said no. That's not weakness. That's confidence. Are we sure we understand what they're capable of? Other members laughed. They're a small planet. They only have one warp ship. Their technology is new. We can crush them. But then someone read the full human data file it showed. More than just war videos. It included hidden files, technical documents, weapon designs. Earth had been studying the galaxy for years, quietly watching, learning. In preparing, they had advanced faster than any species in history. They had weapons that didn't rely on Council technology, and most importantly, they had a mindset the Council had never seen before. Humans didn't fear war. They had lived through it. They didn't fear death. They had faced it again and again. They didn't fear destruction. They had survived it already, and they had come out stronger. In the following days, the Council received hundreds of messages. From other species, some asked questions. Has Earth been punished? What is their military strength? Others asked something more dangerous. Can we say no to? Rebellious groups across the galaxy began using Earth's reply as a symbol. Graffiti started appearing on city walls. Ships began carrying banners with a single word. No, the Council's intelligence teams warned of growing unrest. If we attack Earth, we may start a galaxy-wide rebellion. If we do nothing, we look weak. The Council was trapped and they had only one planet to blame. Meanwhile, Earth remained calm. There were no parades. No public victory speeches. Most of humanity didn't even know how close they had come to war. But in secret bunkers and military stations, Earth's defense teams stayed ready. Captain Rhea Morgan of the Earth Orbital Defense Network read the LAT reports. Alien fleets were watching from far space, but none dared to come close. "They're scared," one officer said. Rhea nodded. They should be. Earth had made its choice. It had shown Galaxy knew it. Part 4. The silence that followed after Earth's. One word replied, no. Everything changed. The galaxy had been loud before. Every day brought new orders from the Galactic Council, new rules, new demands. Starships buzzed from planet to planet, and species lived under the control of ancient powers that ruled the stars with pride. But now, everything was quiet. The silence began with the Council itself. The great chamber, where proud voices once shouted and argued, now sat in stillness. Holographic screens displayed Earth's response on a loop. The word no still hovered in the air, along with the terrifying video humans had sent footage of war, destruction, and survival. Council members looked at each other. No one wanted to speak first. No one wanted to make the wrong move. They had sent tribute demands to over 100 species. Every single one had paid. Even those who hesitated eventually gave in after seeing what happened to rebels. But Earth didn't hesitate, they didn't fight, they didn't even explain. They had simply refused. The Council had two choices: punish Earth or leave them alone. The first option was risky. The Council's military was large and powerful, but it had never fought a species like humanity. Human soldiers had trained for war long before they had warp ships. Their weapons were designed not just to win, but to survive the worst. Even their minds were different, where most species feared pain and death. Humans saw it as part of life. Their message had said it clearly: we don't fear destruction. We survived our own. The second option, doing nothing, would make the Council look weak. Other species might think they could refuse tribute too. More planets followed Earth's example. The entire tribute system could fall apart. That terrified the Council more than anything. They ruled by fear. And fear was now fading, while the Council remained frozen. Something surprising happened. Across the galaxy, small changes began. On the planet Delcanis, a minor mining colony that had paid tribute for generations, a group of workers refused to load the tribute shipment. If Earth can say no, they said, so can we. On Veros 2, a rebel radio station began broadcasting Earth's speech every day in every language they knew. We are not weak. You're not alone. The one-word reply had become a symbol of spark. Some called it foolish, some called it dangerous, but many called it hope. On Earth, however, there was no celebration. Ambassador Rachel Yoon, the woman who had spoken the word no to the galaxy, sat quietly in a small office. She wasn't smiling. She knew what her answer had risked. Earth might still be attacked. The Council could change its mind at any time. Humanity had bought time, but not safety. Behind the scenes, world leaders held quiet meetings. Defense systems were upgraded. Emergency plans were written. Hidden space stations were stocked with food, medicine, and weapons. Captain Rhea Morgan, leader of Earth's orbital defense fleet, spoke with her commanders. "I may have avoided a battle," she said, "but the war may still come. If it does, we make them regret it." But deep down, many of them hoped it wouldn't come to that. Days passed, then weeks, then months. The Council never sent a fleet. They made no more demands. They never even replied to Earth's message. It was as if they didn't know what to do. And in truth, they didn't. They had never faced a species that stood its ground. So, calmly, Earth hadn't needed to fire a shot. Humans hadn't shouted or threatened. Their greatest weapon had been their silence. And in the galaxy full of noise and power, that silence was deafening. Years later, Earth's decision was still remembered. New species reaching warp speed were told stories, not just about the Council, but about the humans who said no. Historians called it the silent shift, the moment when the Council lost its grip on the galaxy. Some planets continued to pay tribute, too scared to stop. Others began to push back, little by little. One by one, the chains loosened, and Earth became something new, not an empire, not a conqueror, but a symbol. A reminder that strength wasn't just about weapons or armies. Sometimes strength was having the courage to stand still when the whole galaxy expected you to kneel. In the end, the most powerful word ever spoken in the galaxy wasn't a threat or a promise. It was a word said without fear, without apology, without hate. Just one quiet word that changed everything.